Oh, hey, Alice. Good timing. You walked in at a great time. We got Arlene from HR Lexi, and we got Cordie as well. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Um, Alice, before you got here, we were talking to Arlene about their new record that they're going to record next month. So be on the lookout for that. That's exciting. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you because you you're you're what Nashville needs in terms of expression. I feel like
Hmm.
there's a couple of bands I feel that way about, where it's really introducing something new and revitalizing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, we talked about Bjork earlier. Who are some of your major influences?
Astra. Um, Astra, Grimes.
Ooh.
Uh, I've really been loving Hannah Cohen's new record. I have a lot of folky influences, and I also have more like electronic. Um, I love Sylvanesso. I
Yeah.
love Kim Gordon's one of my heroes for sure. Who else? I love there's this girl who's on tour right now from Portland, Oregon, Haley Hendricks, who is an incredible songwriter. She's been inspiring me a lot.
Was there music in the house growing up as a kid?
Yeah, I both of my parents were the kind of people who obsessed over one artist. Do you know anybody like that listens to one artist all the time?
I go through
Like at a
phases.
time or just forever?
Forever.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Well, my mother, Stevie Wonder, all the time. I mean, I know, I know by hearing any Stevie Wonder song, I just know it because of her always playing it. And then my father was Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
I mean, if you're stuck with two artists, that's not so bad.
It's not the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to listen to Frank Sinatra though, like for me now, because it's just like dad.
Yeah. Where are you from originally?
I was born in Eugene, Oregon.
Okay.
And I grew up in Raleigh-ish, like a little country town in North Carolina, like 30 minutes outside of Raleigh.
Do you have any ghost stories?
Yeah, I do actually.
And you want to share?
Sure. I have one that just came to mind. But I'm just curious is North Carolina, well, I guess Salem witch trial, like, is that like what makes you think North Carolina
it's his stick and he's trying to get through them.
I was gonna ask you that either way.
Okay, that was coming no matter what. All right. Well, so I went to school in a small beach town in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I was in a little crappy apartment, and I had a roommate, and my roommate was outside, and she actually was more into like talking to the dead, and like, you know, she was like very into it, and I was a little creeped out by it, but I would go along with some of her shenanigans. And she told me that like a little girl was in the house, like a ghost, like a little girl ghost was in the house. And I was like, okay. But I was taking a bath, and I went to I was done with the bath, and I went to like pull the drain out. And I just remember that I felt so real, like it felt so real that someone pushed me. like so much so. And then I heard like a giggle, and like it was felt so real to me that I ran out of the bathroom, like naked with a towel, and was like went straight to my roommate in the kitchen. And I was like, did you just push me? And she was like, what? No, like, I'm just in the kitchen. I'm like, I swear to you, I just felt somewhat like I felt a hand and a push. It was just so real that it was just very bizarre. And that was it. And and then I told her, and she was like, it was a little girl for sure.
Does anything else stick out in your mind?
No, I mean, only in the sense that like now I think I didn't even really believe in, like, I didn't really think much about it. I think about it more now as far as like, if you call in the dead, that they do respond, especially like your ancestors, and I've kind of been in a very like relaxed way, been trying to like stay in contact with my grandma that's passed. And just by like calling her in, saying her name. And I have a friend who she does like, she communicates with the dead via writing. Like there's a name for it.
Auto writing.
And so like she'll ask something and then it'll show up on the page. Sometimes it's like scribble, but you can, find some words in there. Yeah, her and her sister do that. And they actually have done it since they were little kids. And she said that in October that she'd be able to fit me in for a session to talk to my grandma.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it just kind of worked out too, that as I was thinking about contacting my grandma, that this woman, my friend, started telling me all about it.
Yeah.
And I told her that. I was like, it's weird that you're saying this. And she was like, no, that is your grandma though.
It's something. It's like manifestation or her reaching back or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about, I like to preface this that no one really knows, but do you, some people pretend to know, and but no one knows the answer. But do you have any intuitions about what happens after we die?
Yes. So I did DMT once with with a bandmate of mine in how long ago? It's probably like, I guess at least 8-10 years ago. And it's funny because it feels so like vivid, even though it was so long ago. Well, at the time I was in a band called The Medicine Woman and the Doses. And he was one of the doses, and he literally always had acid on him. And he at the time had DMT, and he was like, do you want to do DMT with me? And I was like, I told him that I was scared, and he was like, well, how about you just do the DMT and I'll just sit with you and be like a support if you need it. And at the time I was like, this is kind of perfect. Like, when will I ever get this opportunity to do DMT and have a friend like willing to, help me enter in and make me feel safe. So I did it. And I remember, immediately closing my eyes, going somewhere that was very fractal, almost like walking into a kaleidoscope. I remember seeing colors that like, it was like blues that were bluer than any blue you could ever imagine. And I also remember two beings with like very, very long hair kind of welcoming me into this space. And when I felt these beings, I got so scared that I like pulled myself out for a second and opened my eyes. which for anybody who's done DMT, if you open your eyes, it's much worse.
Yeah.
I feel like this reality is not meant for where you are mentally.
No, it's like it overlays your reality with a new texture.
Yeah. And it's like, no, this is not right. But it's so funny because I remember I was like, I just like came out and I was like, tell me it's not forever. And my friend goes, it's not forever. It's just for a little while. Go back. And so I went back and I kind of just explored that space. And I remember when it was finished and I came out, I immediately wrote down, I was crying and I wrote down, they think that I'm dead, but I'm not yet. And that was just the thought I was having in that space. Like, this is where I'll come. Like, this is the place that, I mean, your brain will release its largest load of DMT and saturate your brain when you die. So to me, it just made so much sense that, of course, this is like a place I'm going to go back to. And it also made me realize that, like, whatever you chase in this life, whether it be, sorry.
You're good.
Will you take him outside?
Yeah, but we're going to dinner.
You can. What?
Just saying, don't have a lot of time to spare.
I know. So like, it basically made me realize that, like, whatever you chase in this life, you get. Like, I felt like I went to a place that was light and welcoming and kind, and I think, I don't know, it really ingrained that in my brain, that, like, letting go of this idea of like heaven or hell, or like more like you just choose what you get in this life.
Yeah.
It's all a choice, and all these little choices leading to this place that is almost like a manifestation of all of those choices. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense in general, but I've had similar experiences to what you're describing. I think that's you want a really quick doorway to the afterlife, just to peek in. You do DMT just to see what it's like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It is a peak for sure.
I've had good experiences and bad experiences with it. Well, we can get into that another time though.
Also,
Yeah.
my friend that talks to the dead, she says that she's asked them directly, like, what is it like and what did you experience? And she said the consistent answer is that we are meant to learn a specific lesson in this life, and if we don't learn it, we just do it again.
Yeah.
That there is no one God, that we are all kind of God consciousness moving in a direction together. Like, we're all going to return to that place together.
In a brief way, I was shown once in a trip, which I kind of, it's very real to me, but I don't take that as 100% face value necessarily. But I was shown in a trip once that consciousness kind of arose out of nothing, and that it was so profoundly alone that it created life so it could go down and pretend that it wasn't alone. So I think we're all literally the same person. Like, the soul that drives us is God, or whatever you want to call it. And
wow.
Yeah. And what makes us different is our biology and also our experiences, things we go through in life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so funny how we try to, like, cling to those things as our identity and, like, who we are. But, like, Buddhists talk about shedding all of that, and, like, whatever's left is actually the true you. These ideas we have of ourselves, we hold on to so tightly,
What do you think about do you think I used to ask people if they believed in aliens, but unanimously everyone's like, well, there's got to be something out there. So, do you think
I
extra
fall into that.
yeah, do you think extraterrestrial life has interacted with Earth or let's say human civilization either currently or in the past?
I feel like if they did, the government wouldn't want us to know about it.
Oh, for sure. Totally.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
no doubt.
so yeah, I think maybe it's possible and it's been covered up or any evidence has been destroyed. I
Yeah.
could totally believe that.
What this there's no like good way to ask this question, but like what do you think the meaning of life is?
Well, it gets a little complicated, but I was actually raised quite Christian.
Same.
Yeah, as most of us people raised in the South are, right? Or maybe America, maybe just America. I don't know.
What denomination were you?
It was what's it called? Assemblies of God.
Okay, never heard of that one.
Yeah.
I was Jehovah's Witness.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah. Very evangelical, like have like a word for you straight from the Lord kind of situation.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that because I've spent like the last 10 years trying to unpack all of that. And like what is the meaning of life without this ideology that you've been inundated with, that there's some big man in the sky that's going to judge you and is also judging every decision that you make and how you're acting and how you're living. And so like after I've kind of stripped a lot of that away, I feel like I want to say life is about pleasure too, like, which I feel like now I'm going to start sounding in the Christian world like a heathen, but it's kind of, I've kind of, flipped it a little bit where I'm like, can I enjoy like this existence fully? Like, can I enjoy being in this body and chasing after the things that bring me pleasure? And are we allowed to enjoy this? And I think I've moved more into a state that's just chasing what is true to me. And also like, I don't know, I do think like it is important to like give back to your fellow man in some way, to serve in some way, like not in a Christian way, but like I'm also a birth worker. So I assist women in birth. And like for me, that is like the very full circle for me, like to support women in bringing life into the world is like brings me lots of purpose.
Yeah, there's no more important job than that, except making badass music, I guess.
Yeah, it feels like sacred space for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for like artists coming up, because like they have so many tools available to them but so many distractions?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I feel like the most obvious advice would be to turn your phone off. Like really give yourself detox from incoming information and other people's art and how everybody else is doing it. I mean, I've seen the way that that's affected my brain, just in the last couple years. I think it's a watering down of our creative force. Like we're all getting a little watered down, you know. It's like everything's getting a little bit more mediocre.
Yep.
So it's just like a dangerous place to spend too much time, especially as an artist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say spend lots of time in nature. Definitely give yourself time away from your phone. And for me personally, find any instrument you feel drawn to and dabble. It doesn't matter if you're good at it or not. It's just a tool to express yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just like try something.
Yeah. It could even be a kid's toy. Yeah. It could be anything, you know, like it doesn't have to be some incredible, you don't have to be the best at it. Like it's just a tool with like a paintbrush is for a painter.
Like Courtney's kazoo.
Yes, I saw that thing.
World's saddest song on kazoo.
Oh, such a good sound.
It's something.
Yeah, no, really. I would be so into a kazoo record.
Let's do a collaboration.
Yeah.
So how do you think people came to be? Because it's like there's like a couple of different ideas about it, right? Like there's there's obviously like natural selection and evolution, and then there's like a couple of different ideas about a missing link, like something that separates us. You have any thoughts about that?
The missing link thing, like, I mean, have they found the actual missing link?
Well, there's a couple of ideas. The couple I'm aware of, one's called the stoned ape theory. It's actually something that Terrence and Dennis McKenna developed, where chimps took psilocybin. And so that would be the missing link there. And then the other one would be something akin to like 2001: A Space Odyssey, or like ancient Sumerian text, which talks about like the Epic of Gilgamesh, and like the oldest living document that we have in human history is a story of our origin, and it talks about how aliens came down and spliced their DNA in ours.
I did not know this.
Yeah. The Epic of Gilgamesh, it has a flood story in it, which the Bible gets their flood story from. It's wild shit. But so they're either basically the main two ideas are like aliens came down and did something to primates to make them more intelligent, or there's also I suppose the Greek Prometheus, handing man fire. And then there's like the stone ape theory, psilocybin.
Right, that idea that because they had fire, they could start to cook meat, and they like advanced in their brains. Yeah,
I philosophically I talk about, it's kind of, I say it poetically, but I worship Prometheus because it's kind of the handing down of knowledge, and he paid a great price for handing that to people. Like Zeus chained him to a rock and had a crow peck at his organs, kind of like the devil handing us the fruit, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, there's a couple of different missing link ideas. I don't know. What do you think's the most plausible?
I don't know.
Me either.
But
I'm asking you.
Something tells me like women were a part of it in some way. Like that they create, I mean, they are literally creators of life. They can birth life from between their legs. Like they had to have some part in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely did.
They definitely without women. Did, but like I it's hard to know where the very beginning. I don't know. Yeah,
who knows? That's why I'm asking, because I think about this shit like way too much. So I like to get into
that more.
Yeah.
Go ahead. When did you first get into playing with synthesizers?
Probably 7 years ago. I had been in a like noise punk band before that. And I was just really, really angry at the time. So again, I was using like a guitar as a tool to get the rage out. I was heartbroken too, angry and heartbroken. So it's a good mixture for punk music and noise, you know, just making sound, making your guitar scream. So I then, that band kind of dissolved, and then I was playing guitar by myself, and I was using a looper, and I did that for a little while. And then I moved to Nashville, and I was still doing some of that guitar stuff with looping. And then I met this guy on Craigslist. All of my bands, also, I just want to side note, have all been Craigslist magic.
That is not, you know, we've had several guests on that have said that
Craigslist
it works,
really come through in like that area.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it would be like now, but back, you know, when I was really using it, it was so helpful to meet people. And so when I moved here, I met a guy off Craigslist, and we started playing music together, and we were both, I was playing guitar, he was playing bass, and then he'd play guitar some too. And we performed a time or two like that. And I was like, it's so boring. I was just bored by guitars in general.
Yeah.
So I got a synthesizer. Well, actually, I'd had a synthesizer. I bought it like a year before, and I wrote a couple songs on it, but I was still dabbling with the guitar. And then I was like, you know, what if we just use synths? And he had never played a synth either. So we both were completely new. And that new record we wrote, Nature versus Neon, I mean, that first record we wrote was just like us learning how to play with synthesizers.
Nice.
I think that's so cool.
I mean, it's so approachable. Synthesizers have like infinite possibilities, and you could do so little and make things sound so big.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah, you have such like an ambient sound, like it really does like fill the whole room. It puts you somewhere. It's immersive. Like yeah, I don't know, I'll quit gushing about your band. It's just
that actually is why I didn't say this before, but one of my big influences is Kate Bush.
Running up that hill.
Yeah, I hate what's become of what they've done to her in social media. I just want to say I hate it. Just like overplaying that one song. I'm like, please, I can't.
Damn you, Stranger Things.
Yeah, don't ruin
it.
But yeah, so like when I first listened to her record, I mean, it was like walking into a room. And that's, you know, that's how I like to make music. It feels like a space.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very like spiritual. Like, I don't know.
I feel the most spiritual when I'm making music. Like it feels like I feel the most connected when like magic is happening within the music.
Yeah.
You know?
Like when I moved out, so I was also homeschooled as a kid. So everyone I knew was in my church.
Oh wow.
And so like when I left, I was 18, and I immediately started going to like East Room and like going seeing live music all the time. And like as like what you do saves lives. Like I wouldn't be here without live music.
Wow. Wow.
And I guess that's to tie it back to the spiritual thing. It's like church in a way, except way better.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know what I mean?
Agreed. Yeah. I think it has kind of become my church, or like just a moment to connect with something, you know, that I maybe don't understand, but I'm willing to let it do something.
Yeah.
You know, that the last record we did, Art Over Ego, is kind of that notion of kind of getting out of the way so that art can happen.
Mm-hmm. I think the hard part of faith in the church is that you're told what to believe, and I don't think that is what, you know, believing is really about. And I think, you know, the difference with music is that you feel a connection to something, and belief comes naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to try to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something the other day that was like a religious person will do what they're told even if they know it's wrong, and it's like a spiritual person will do what they know is right even if they're told not to, something like that. It's not exactly how it was, but yeah.
But right, it's the difference between following the rules and knowing.
Yeah.
Right. Or like feeling it.
Can you define magic?
Listen to your heart.
The first thing that came to my mind was like life force. Like magic. I see magic in little tiny things and in big things like birth, you know, like that's magic that, like, you know, you've multiplied, you know, and yeah, when things kind of align in such a way, or, you know, like a song comes out exactly how the song is going to be, you know, or even with people, you know, like the connections we have and these little moments of kind of vulnerability and clarity that we have with people, like it's all magic. And I think it's connected to this life force that's kind of like moving through us.
Yeah, I like what you said about like the little connections, like just little like simple things, subtle things. Have you seen or read The Shining?
I've seen it, but I haven't read it.
So, well, I mean, they cover it pretty well in the movie, but I think The Shining's a real thing. And basically it's not even that certain people have it. It's more like certain things resonate with each other. It's like you meet someone and it clicks, or you see an object like a crystal or something that you really resonate with just off the bat. I think that's real. And like there's something magical to that. Yeah, for sure. What about, can you define art? That one's hard for me too. Magic and art are like kind of,
I feel like art, true art, right? Not just like someone just like taking a shit and being like, that's art. But like true art has to have some level of immediate like truth in it. Like you said, like maybe a matching of vibration, or like something where you're just like, yeah, that's a thing, like, and you can tap into it and I don't make something of it.
Yeah. So you said tap into it, and that reminds me of an Alex Gray painting. You know Alex Gray? Yeah, I love Alex Gray. So he has this one painting, you've probably seen it before, where it's a painting of a guy painting with a stencil. And there's this guy behind him shooting a beam. Yeah. So where do you think, you said tap into it, where do you think art comes from?
I had someone explain it once, like and it makes a lot of sense, like there's like this kind of stream a cloud above all of us, like, and we just get to like grab a piece of it and bring it down.
Yeah.
So like we don't really own any of it. It's not really us, but we just get to tap into a piece of it and bring it to life.
So is your writing style very intuitive? Like it just comes through you?
I'd say, yeah, 99% intuitive. I usually work with people that are much more like theory based and methodical, and like, you know, Justin, who I've been playing music with for almost 7 years now, he's, you know, I can hum something and he can like find it on keys and we can write a song from there. So it's so helpful for me to have someone like that, because I am all feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a nice like chaos and order, like structure and flow.
Yeah. Oh, we talk about how we're like you know, we're like it's like a band marriage dream, me and him, you know, because it's like, but it's truly platonic. We're totally like devoted to making music together, and we like understand each other's styles and like language around music.
Yeah,
That's like the hardest part, you know, is like when you're trying to like verbalize what you hear or what you want, and if someone else can't understand, or I don't know, you're hitting a whole bunch of like walls, it's so tough to make music in that environment, you know.
Yeah,
got to be a flow.
So something that we ask everyone, but
then I have to go. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay.
This has been so much fun. I'd love to have you back sometime.
Yeah, this was lovely. I love these questions.
Yeah, maybe before or after the album or something like that.
Yes, I'd love that. Maybe after the record, I'll have stuff to talk about.
Hell yeah. Do you remember when the last time you cried was?
God, such a good question. Yes, it's last night.
It's good to cry.
Yeah. It is. It is. I think, you know, I was crying about a lot of things really at once, but it's just I'm 33 and I have a lot of interest and things that I love to do. And sometimes when I look at my life, I'm just like, you just think that you were going to be somewhere else at this point. So I spend a lot of time trying to let that go.
Real shit.
Yeah.
You're doing amazing where you are though.
Yeah. You've accomplished so much. I mean, like at least for me, like you've touched people, and I know I'm not alone in that.
And you're gonna do so much more.
And thank you for saying that about how like Nashville needs something like this, because honestly, I get down a lot about thinking that actually Nashville does not want something like this. You know, like it's not, you know, I mean, it's not.
Well, whether they want it or not, they need it.
Yeah.
Well, Arlene, thank you so much for being here. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, y'all were great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Check out HR Lexi. They have a new album out coming soon. Bye.
Yep. Bye.